Hello, my name is William Temple. I'm a student at UCLA. I'm a fourth year, and I'll be graduating in June. And what I'm working on is basically studying the immunosuppressive functions associated with galectin-1 exposure during the dendritic cell differentiation process. So basically, I'm interested in autoimmune diseases, and this is very interesting because it's very common among Americans, especially lupus, and not very many people know much about lupus. But autoimmunity is basically a hyperactive immune response in your elbows, your knees, in certain local regions. So my goal in studying my project basically is to find these immunosuppressive cells that are able to be injected locally into these different regions of the body. And you would then be able to reduce pathology associated with a hyperactive immune response.
So I'm Michael Medrano. I'm from Cal Poly Pomona. I'm a physics major. And the title of my project is Stress and Temperature Sensor based on single mode SMS fiber structure. Basically, this is a fiber sensor, single mode and multi-mode single mode. It's able to sense changes in stress and temperature. The way that it does that is when light propagates through this multi-mode fiber, different paths, modes develop in here, and such that you have constructive and deconstructive interference, and you can see that here. When you mount this sort of sensor onto a stage like this, and you pull on it, you can you start to see something like this. So here you can see data after the light, and it has been shined through. You can see changes in transmission as a result of stress right here. And we did the same for temperature, and we found that we're able to resolve things like 100 nanometer displacement, which is very, very small for this sensor, and 0.006 degrees Celsius.
Hi, I'm Kayla. I go to Cal State Channel Islands.
I'm Shira, and I go to Cal State Channel Islands.
I'm Bailey, and I'm a Cal State Channel Islands graduate.
And we looked at motivation to exercise based on body mass index. We wanted to find out what motivates people to exercise. So we thought that overweight people would be less motivated to exercise based on their BMI. But what we actually found was that they are more motivated by health pressures to go out and exercise based on their BMI.
We also found gender differences. Men are more likely to exercise due to competition, and women are more likely to exercise for weight management and appearance.
My name is Lauren Hamachi. I'm from Channel Islands, CSU Channel Islands. I did mine on the relationship of body modification to gender and age. Originally what I was looking at was self-esteem and body modification. My hypothesis was that individuals with lower self-esteem would have body modifications over people who have higher self-esteem. However, as my results show, I have found no significance in the self-esteem, hope, or global well-being. However, age and gender did seem to play a factor in it. Females and then the younger population is who has body modifications more or less. So that's really it.
Hi, I'm Ryan Douglas from Cal State University Fullerton. I did my project on 3D analysis of land slopes using ArcGIS. What I did was take a contour of a landslide in Nepal, mapped it out in GIS, which gave me a 3D rendering of the landslide itself. From there, there's in the block, there's a landslide, which has the sliding surface. This data was already taken and measured from the area. So what I did was I mapped it out. I got an equation for that line, just using Excel, and then I modeled that three-dimensionally. So I took the line and I made a sliding surface bowl from the equation over the predetermined block area that had already slidden before. So then the analysis using the raster calculator in ArcGIS, I used Hofland's equation, which gave me all the data necessary through the analysis of in ArcGIS to map out the factor of safety for the landslide. Now the factor of safety for the three-dimensional version came out to 1.01, which is nominal for just right after a landslide occurs, is where it normally is at. So I compared that to the classic two-dimensional analysis, which gave me a factor of safety which had a greater range of kind of error basically. It started at like 0.09 to 1.07 to 1.32, where you want it at 1.0 after it just happens. So this shows that if you map out a landslide in three-dimensional version of ArcGIS, you can get much more accurate results than if you do a two-dimensional analysis of it.
We're just like looking at these posters from like other schools, and we're actually going to be presenting our poster like in the next session. But as of right now, we're just like looking at other people's posters.
Tell us about your presentation coming up. Anything?
Our presentation is, we put a lot of work into it, and it's going to be about frogs and the effect that UV light has on frog adults, which is pretty cool.
So my name's Sam Nelson, and I'm from California Lutheran University. I did this study to see if music could affect how we judge people's facial expressions. Sadly, that part wasn't statistically significant, but another portion which talked about your felt emotions when you're listening to the music was. And it showed that the positive aspects of music affect people more than do negative or fearful ones.
My name's Arthur Sanders, and I'm from Moorpark, California. And the study I did was on the influence of high rain years on the population of crayfish and newts in the Santa Monica Mountains. And what we looked at was the invasive crayfish will eat the larvae and the adults of the Chirica turosa newt, which is a native newt to the Santa Monica Mountains, which is extremely endangered right now. So we found that on high rainfall years, the amount of crayfish decreases, and because they eat the newts, the newt levels increase. And we've also implemented trapping to get rid of these crayfish. And we found that in streams other than Trancas, there's either a large amphibian population or there are no amphibians and there's a high crayfish population.